Hello, my name's Matt Urmenyi. I'm a sound designer specialising in analogue synthesis, and this is the first in a series of videos about drum synthesis using the Korg MS-20 Mini synth, which is really great at making analogue drum sounds. You can make all the drums you want and have them as individual samples and load them up into your soft sampler or your hardware sampler, and you'll have your own unique sound bank of your own drum sounds. Okay, so the first technique I'm going to show you is the self-oscillating filter. I'm just going to make the low pass self-oscillate by turning the peak up, and I'll show you what that sounds like. So that's the tone we're going to build the kick from. I'll turn up envelope generator 2 modulation control here, and what that does is it means that this envelope generator 2 is now moving the cutoff frequency, depending how I set that. And I'm going to just switch everything to 0 except decay, which is at around 2. You get this zap sound, and it's reading as a zap rather than a kick because the pitch is too high and we need to shift that down into the lower range, and there's a few ways of doing that. One is just to patch the modulation wheel into total, and now this control here dials in the amount that the modulation wheel will change the cutoff. So we've got two modulations on that, the envelope and the modulation wheel, which I'm moving down now. So we're actually kind of bending this knob below 0 using the modulation wheel. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is just to dial back the envelope generator to amount, so that it moves that less, and it's already at 0, so it moves it up less. And another way to alter the tone, and this is a really good tip, is just to move the peak back a bit. Try it with some release as well. So we're going to introduce another level of complexity with the high pass filter. Here's what that sounds like. Sounds the same when it's self-oscillating, and it's in series with the low pass, so its audio goes through the low pass. So I can cut that off to demonstrate with the low pass filter, filtering it out. And we're going to control the high pass filter cutoff frequency with envelope generator 1, which is this smaller envelope here. And we're going to use the inverted output, it's called rev out, patch that into cutoff. Here's the effect of the envelope generator 1 in reverse on the high pass filter. You hear that? And the smaller the attack number, the faster that movement between high and low pitch will be. And this is how you get that transient effect, because between about 1 and 0, or around 1, it starts turning into a snap. And that's really kind of the secret weapon of the MS-20 Mini in generating a fast envelope snap for lots of drum sounds, not just the kick. I'm using that idea in this patch, which you won't find in the guide PDF, by the way. It's envelope generator 1 moving high pass and envelope generator 2 moving the low pass. And because we're using envelope generator 2, we have access to the sustain level, which can change the sound in an interesting way. And you can kind of get some really deep sounds tweaking around these settings. So just one more element I'd like to add on to that, and that's the element of feedback, which I think sounds good in a lot of kick drums, on the MS-20 at least. So we're going to set that up by recording through the phones, and the signal out will now be generating our feedback. Signal out into signal in of the ESP, signal out of the ESP gets patched into external signal in here. So now we've got feedback, and this is what it sounds like without. And you use the signal level to adjust how much you want. So to take this patch a little bit further, you can unplug the amp output here from the ESP and put it into the bandpass filter output. And what that will do is it will give you more control over the frequencies you're using to generate feedback, not just the full spectrum that you'd otherwise be getting. So I'll show you the effect of that. You can see here I'm cutting down on the high frequency. And we can use these high and low cuts just to narrow down a frequency band for feedback. Gives you that effect, and you can dial it back. With the signal level amount. Okay, so that's about it for the kick drum video. Please go to the Wave Alchemy website for more information on drum synthesis. I've produced a guide that you'll find there. You can get that for free, and it's got patch sheets and example sounds, and it does go into more detail about how to synthesize the sounds and how to get them how you want them to sound. And also there you'll get a free sample library generated on the MS-20 Mini, processed by Wave Alchemy, so that's well worth picking up. Thanks for watching.